G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about where all the pros are dropping at NA East for duos and trios. Who's playing with who's contesting who, which drops are coming out on top right now. You guys have been asking me, Aussie, trios around the corner, where should my team be dropping? And some of these are more well known. Some of the drop spots like Believer's Beach with the NPCs and like that people know about, but there's a few really low-key drops that I want to talk about that players are doing really well out of in scrims, and I'm quite excited to share with you guys. Also, we did have a bit of news break today that Deyy has been banned on Twitch only for one day, but this is quite important because he's set to play in the TNA Duos tournament tomorrow or today by the time you watch this video with Clix. If he's still banned on Twitch, which I don't think he's going to get unbanned, it's only a one-day ban, they're not going to reverse it, that means either Clix can't stream because therefore he'd be streaming with a banned streamer, or if he does stream, he's not allowed to share Deyy's comms. He's going to have to mute Deyy. So any hope that we were going to see Clix stream this Duos tournament, I think has gone out the window. But let's talk about who's playing with who and where they're dropping first. Remember guys, I'm going to be doing viewing parties for all these tournaments over the next few days. We have 2 TNA tournaments. We also have a Formula Cup and another trio tournament. So we got 4 tournaments in 3 days. So make sure you check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I'm going to be doing a bunch of viewing parties, gifted subs for bingo, predictions, all that. It's going to be fun. But even though Duos is first, Duos will be today by the time you watch this video at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 8 a.m. my time. I want to talk about Trios first, because even though Duos is first, Trios is the game mode coming up for FNCS and Cash Cups. Duos only really matters for this tournament and DreamHack. So there's also a few players missing. So you're going to look at this map and you're going to think, Aussie, what's happening? No one's at Hydro Dam, no one's at Steamy, no one's at Coral. Not every team so far has picked the drop spot. This is just the ones that have already marked them down, the ones I've been able to reach out to. Here is a list of all the players who haven't got a drop spot yet. Some of them might already know, maybe they're keeping a secret or they just didn't put it on the map. But unless I was 100% sure they were dropping there, I didn't really want to talk about it. So looking at the map here, there's not too many teams that are already contested. Furious, Sizlucky, and Nounsy gone up against Carey, Fatch, and Pam Stow. This is going to be an interesting one because I don't know if they're actually going to contest each other too much, or maybe they're going to try and split the loot. There's not a lot of loot to split there, north versus south. I really don't think there is any way to split that. I think they are going to have to fight in trios. We have Zypher, Zork, and Twexy going up against Coop, Bizzle, and Blake at Pleasant Park. And this is, I don't want to say it's Boomer versus Zoomer combo, because I mean, I feel like that's used a lot, but Coop, Bizzle, and Blake, especially with Bizzle and Blake, that is an older team in the scene right now. They aren't, I don't want to say they're not as mechanically cracked, because in scrims, Coop, Bizzle, and Blake have been doing really well. Coop's playstyle, while not being incredibly flashy and fancy, is really, really good for fighting. Blake's mechanics are incredibly flashy. I think Blake is incredibly underrated as a mechanical player. He's a bit older, he's very smart, but if you've ever watched Blake play arena solos, he can clip people. His AR aim especially is disgusting. People are always going to discount Bizzle on spawn as well and be like, oh, Lizzle, he's so bad. Bizzle's actually quite smart when it comes to spawn fighting, and a drop like Pleasant Park that's quite spread out, intelligence is going to matter a lot. Taking houses to take their drop spot, being able to use the vehicles to push around, being able to use even the gas cans. There's a lot of stuff you can do quite smart. This isn't a 50-50 drop. You're not both just 50-50ing on one house and hoping you have better aim and mechanics. Like, there is a lot of intelligence in the Pleasant Park fight. Other than that, we have Colazo, Glace, and Trashy up against Degen, Ages, and Skittles. Now, this is a scary one. I'm very excited for Colazo. Full transparency, I'm biased. Colazo is one of my favorite people in the scene. Good friend of mine, and I love the fact he's with Glace and Trashy. They've been looking really, really good in scrims. Colazo's been practicing mouse and keyboard a whole bunch to get his Storm Surge tags up, to get way better at getting long-range Storm Surge tags like a lot of controller players, pros are doing. It's just controller at range, as you guys know, if you play on it, the aim assist just isn't really there, so they're looking really good, but I liked their chances of doing better before they were going up against Degen, Ages, and Skittles. Now, Degen, Ages, Skittles normally have been dropping Orchard and that Northern split, which is now taken over by Booger, Nosh, and Avery, so I don't know how well Degen's team's gonna go at Colossal Crops. I haven't seen them too much in scrims. Honestly, I haven't really seen Degen, Ages, Skittles popping off crazy, but again, they don't really stream them, so a lot of the times, I probably wouldn't have noticed if they popped off from there, so it's hard to really actually know. We also do have Deyy Mirror Reverse, our FNCS winners, still at Dirty Docks. I'm sure someone is going to be dropping at the Kami split to give them their Storm Surge tags. Voil, Xep, and Snake have kind of taken more of the retail Spire area, but I have a feeling they're going to be taking more of the Kami split than that. There's no way Voil just doesn't choose to drop maybe on the bridge and get more of that loot, so that is going to be an interesting one for them. Also, we have Jack Slacks and Acorn, ex-FNCS champions, still at Slurpee Swamps. We have Edgy Commandment Centered still at Misty Meadows. We have Gabe Tahi Sprite still at Believers Beach. We have Jamp Horizon Threats still at Holy Hedges, and Mega Dubs and Rocane still at Boney Burp. So a lot of the drop spots are still the same. Felix, Sparebow, and Posed are sticking to the center of the map like they did during the Spire split. Obviously, without the Spire, I would say they're getting less loot now. There's 2 IO chests. There is a surprising amount of loot in the middle of the map. For solos, it is fantastic. Trios, I'm not 100% sure on how much I like that drop, but again, one thing I wanted to talk about when you look at these drop spots, the best one on the map right now being Believers Beach. Hands down, Believers Beach is by far the best drop. You have an AR NPC that almost always sells blue ARs, and if it's not, it's a legendary or epic AR, so you can get 3 epic ARs, or you also have a shotgun NPC that sells blue shotguns, purple shotguns, or legendary shotguns as well. So if they get lucky and you're at Believers Beach, you could walk away with 3 scars and 3 spazzes. 3 scars and 3 spazzes. It's ridiculous. That doesn't happen often, but in 6 games, I guarantee at least once they are going to get one of those NPCs be epic, and it's insane. And if it's not epic, most often it's blue, and you're still walking out with blue AR, blue shotgun. I don't know about you guys, but if you played Arena at all this season, that is insane. That is really good loot. If you drop areas like Weeping Woods, like even Misty Meadows at times, you're walking away with like a green AR and a gray pump. Like really, the loot right now is very brutal. But what I wanted to talk about, outside of the major POIs, the one advantage you have in a big split is llamas. Llamas quite often don't spawn inside the POIs. The more area you cover with your drop, the more likely you are to find llamas. I've been playing a whole bunch of Arena with Oreo and Dana, if you guys know, they're OCE pros. They're dropping the kind of Hydro Dam Flush Factory split, and while they don't get very good shotguns, they were telling me how often they find llamas because they cover so much area. So drops like Felix, Sparebow, Posed, Voil, Xep, Snake, even Ochre's, Magnolia, and Aviv, those kind of drops, you have a lot of area to cover. You have a very good chance of finding llamas. And in stacked formats like this, when it comes down to, you know, mostly endgame placements, it's not just all elims, in a 6 or even 12 game format like FNCS finals, sometimes getting more llamas, better meds, and better mats is going to be better off than just getting the crazy firepower out of Believers Beach. So I don't know how that's going to play into things. We also have the spotlight of the tournament, Muzz, Looter, and Speedy, the full TNA trio who has just traveled from Australia to the United States to play in this tournament. They're dropping Retail Row, and this is going to be a very interesting one for them. I don't know how well that's going to go for them. If you look at the people that I've kept off the map right now, a few of them I think could potentially be going Retail Row. I did notice that Casca and Smacked are not playing in this tournament. They are going to be contesting the TNA trio at Retail Row. I can almost guarantee it when it comes to tournaments, but they're not in this tournament. So we're going to be able to see how Muzz, Looter, and Speedy can go with Uncon Retail. There are a few teams who haven't picked drop spots. When you've got Steamy Stacks still currently with no one at it, I think that might actually be Calc, Creo, and Tragic's drop, but I'm not 100%, so I don't want to say they're going there if they're not. There are other spots to take, so they might be able to keep Retail uncontested. We get to see how the OCE boys are going to show up. We have Saf, Kanata, and Stretch at Lazy Lake. They are possibly looking like the best team out of scrims right now that I can see. They are looking really, really good in scrims. I'm excited to see if this tournament backs that up. Edgy Commandment centered. It's centered Edgy Commandment. They're out of Misty Meadows. They're going to dominate. I'm sure they are. Jack Slacks and Acorn are going up against a little bit with Scoped, Mikey, and Zlem. That might be one of the fun areas to see. Scoped, Mikey, and Zlem are looking really good. I've really enjoyed watching them in scrims. I think Mikey is a very underrated IGL. Scoped has been getting better and better the last few seasons, but they're trying to take some of the loot from Slacks, Jack, and Acorn. That never ends well. You don't want to go anywhere near Jack Slacks and Acorn. They really do like to fight. They really do fight for the area around Slurpee, and they play aggressive. I feel like that team actually prefers it when people try to take their loot and play around them because it's usually easy surge or even easy points for them. They're an incredibly aggressive early game team, so I'm a little bit scared for Scope, Mikey, and Zlem trying to take that area near them. We have Visuals, Joji, and Frist out of Weeping Woods. I'm quite excited to see that. I like all those players individually, but I haven't seen too much about how they play together. So like I said, there are still a few teams missing off the list. Most of them not as notable, but a few notable teams still in there. We have Yelty, Krizux, and Bully. I think they'll probably go Steamy Stacks as well, to be honest. They've been dropping Steamy Stacks in scrims. I can't see why they wouldn't go there. Ved and Tabney, I have no idea where they're going. Iomzo, Nut, and Chucky. So there's some teams with big players who can make big plays who haven't picked a drop spot yet, but I wanted to at least detail where most of the main teams are going on NA East. I think the only team I haven't talked about now is Bucky, Macwood, and Reet out of Craggy Cliffs. That is their drop spot anywhere. They've been going there since the dawn of time. I mean, at least Bucky and Macwood have. So with Reet with them, they know the surge plans. They know the rotates. I'm excited to see how they go. I was talking about it recently. I would absolutely love to see Reet go to NA East to play with Bucky and Macwood. I think that would be fantastic. And if they do well in this tournament, maybe there's potential there. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it happen. I'm trying to just will it into existence because I think it'd be really awesome content. I wanted to focus more on trios than duos because obviously that's the FNCS game mode, and I think duos, they'll change their drops around more often. If they're contested last minute, they'll probably go somewhere else, where trios seem to stick in their drop spots. There's also a lot more players who haven't picked their drop spot. Again, this is the full list of the duo players playing. If you haven't seen them on the map, it means they haven't picked a drop spot yet, but there's a few ones that we've come to expect. Jack and Acorn at Slurpy Swamps, Macwood and Bucky at Craggy Cliffs, Clix and Deyy are still going Pleasant Park as well, Slacks and Illest are still doing a Hydro Dam split, Edgy and Stretch are going Lazy Lake. We do have some new teams as well, Mikey and Bumboy out of Dirty Docks, again another NA East playing with NA West team, but they've been playing so much arena together, it's ridiculous. We have some very interesting drop contests. Nico and Qua going up against Gabe and Paper, and Zork and Zypher at Stealthy Stronghold. I just don't think it's worth that. Kanata and Knifer. This was such an unexpected team for me. I still swear that this must be fake or this is a typo. I just didn't know Kanata and Knifer were even friends, and I'm just quite surprised to see Kanata play with Knifer, and that is by no means disrespect to Knifer. He just doesn't have that same level of reputation that Kanata has these days. So I want to see if it can work, and I hope it does work. But I was really surprised and really proud to see Kanata drop the ego a little bit and play with Knifer. Maybe they're good friends and I just don't know it, but I was surprised to see that team, but I am excited to see it as well. We've got, other than that, no massive drop contests. We have Coop and Bizzle against Frist and Visuals in that middle map kind of mountain area. That's a normal drop spot for Bizzle because he likes to control that area for Storm Surge, so I guess he wants to play that one as well. Rocane and Skittles, a very scary on-spawn team going up against Luda and Avery. A lot of you guys outside of OCE might not know how scary Luda is. I would say Luda is probably top 5 best mechanics in the region out of OCE. I think the only reason why he's in the shadow is because he's behind Muzz, who I would argue is the best. Maybe Volks could be better as well. Like for me, Muzz and Volks are on their own level in OCE. So Luda is very, very scary. Pair that with Avery, and Corny Complex could be a very interesting drop to watch. I don't think either of them are going to stream it. Hopefully I get into the replays and maybe watch that one. We have Zunies and D-Roller, again, an incredibly scary fighting team. Double control going up against Spade and Tabs over at the Fort Crumpet area. Don't really think it's worth contesting, but maybe they think one of them will leave. Miro and Rise, which I think is one of the most underrated duos coming into this tournament, playing out of Holy Hedges. They also get the Viking ship as well. I think that'll be a very scary team to look out for. Jamper and Threats getting Flush Factory is a pretty underrated one. It's pretty far on the edge of the map, but I think they can really make it work. But other than that, there's not too much to talk about with duos. I really wanted to focus most of the video on trios, but I had the drop spot map made and I wanted to include it for you guys. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I just really wanted to give you guys an update on who's dropping where and how they're looking. Bit of storylines that are developing as well, but I'll probably make a breakdown video after the duos tournament tomorrow, as long as there was enough content out of it to make a video. So like I said, 4 tournaments in the next 3 days. We have Cash Cups kicking off next week. The news content is back. I'm gonna be breaking down the tournaments, everything that's happening. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are ready for it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.